What's going on, folks? My name is Joe, aka J to the OE. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about some tips that I have for game collecting in 2023. Game collecting isn't dead, guys, and I'm here to prove it. It's just a little bit different nowadays. So if you're new here, please hit like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. Otherwise, let's go. Now, really, I don't think I've been collecting that long. It was November 2019. My mom went to Japan and she came back and got me a Super Famicom with a few Mario games, and that just kind of lit something in me. And I'm like, oh man, I love these old games, and I started collecting starting in November of 2019. I've amassed a little bit over 650 games, give or take, and about 25 or 26 systems, which isn't a lot really in the grand scheme of things. Like, honestly, I've seen people with like thousands in their collection, and I mean, that's impressive, and that's way too much for me. But I'm really happy with the direction of where my collection is going. Here's about 6 or 7 things that I've learned about game collecting in the last 4 years. And afterwards, I want to tell you, if I were to start collecting today, with all the knowledge that I've had the last 4 years, what would I do? Tip number 1, have patience. FOMO, it's absolutely a real thing, but I tell you what, don't let that control you. I think if I wait long enough, I can almost always find the game that I like at the price point that I'm happy with myself with. And it also helps for you to know the market. If you go on eBay and look at sold listings to see how much it goes for, to see if you're actually saving money or you're not. And then there are some games, and I've had games where I think like, oh man, this is gonna run out soon, and so I buy it, and then I figure out, shoot, the next week it's $30, and so I'm learning as I go. But the biggest thing for me is I've learned to just be patient and just see where things go. I don't need to have all the games opening day. And honestly, I've had the discussion with somebody before. If you buy a new game without the intention of playing it, you're really just wasting your money, because it could be cheaper in the next few weeks. I mean, Persona 5 Royal for the Switch is a great example. It came out, then 3 weeks later, it got half off. And so if you didn't play it within those 3 weeks, you would have wasted $30 right there. Tip number 2, have a focus. For me, it was really hard collecting everything all at once. I ended up just having like a hodgepodge of a collection with no real direction and no real point to the whole thing except just gaining games. Honestly, it was really overwhelming. Right now, my focus is mostly Nintendo Switch games, because right now I'm playing a lot of Nintendo Switch games, being a dad, being on the go all the time, being up on the couch and not really down here with the TVs and all that stuff. The Nintendo Switch is really good for my lifestyle right now. And you know, I have other games that I get every now and then. I did get a PS5 just last week, and so I'm going through God of War Ragnarok. It's amazing. So some of my focus will be there, you know, with the God of Wars, the Horizon Forbidden West and all of that. But I think I'm coming into it at a good time because it's late. And so hopefully I can get those games for cheaper. I tell you what, a good example with some trade-ins, I got God of War for $30, and I see on Facebook Marketplace that you could easily get Horizon Forbidden West for about $40, $45 if you just wait long enough. So the deals are out there. Having a focus helps really immensely. Do you want to focus on RPGs? Do you want to focus on first-person shooters, third-person action games? What do you want to focus, or do you want to focus on a certain system? Switch, the 360, the Xboxes, the PlayStations. Where do you want to go? And honestly, having that focus helped me out a lot and helped me not to get overwhelmed. And part of my focus is only getting games that I intend to play. I mean, this room has a finite amount of space, so I don't want to just fill it up with things. I want to fill it up with things that have some meaning to me and things that I actually want to play. And if I end up playing it and not liking it or something like that, that's when it goes to eBay. That's when it goes to, I don't really like it, and so that's when I'll sell it again. Tip number 3, like what you like. You know, there's a lot of things that I have that I feel like other people don't really like. And that's okay, because I enjoy it. At the end of the day, it's your collection. You should enjoy it. You're the one that's going to be living with your collection. So make sure to just enjoy and like what you like. Number 4, be nice. You will lose out on great deals, because everybody's looking for great deals, especially if you're on Marketplace or OfferUp. You will lose out. Just expect it. I always say it's frustration is because of false expectation. And if you just expect to lose out every now and then, or most of the time, then you won't get frustrated. For me, I'll expect to lose out most of the time, and maybe get 1 or 2 good deals in the midst of like 10 or 15 like no's. And that's okay. Don't get mad about it. Be nice, because at the end of the day too, you don't really want to burn your bridges, just in case that other person has another good deal. They might be thinking of you, and they might contact you first. So don't burn your bridges. Just be nice. Don't be a jerk. Number 5, set limits. I know that seems counterintuitive, but for me, I feel a lot more fulfilled when I set a few limits. For me, here's what I mean. In 2019, when I first started collecting, I really bought almost everything. Like, if I can afford it, I'll just do it. Like, let's buy this. Why not? Let's buy this. Why not? And, and it was fun. But in the last year, I've made it a point to not touch kind of the bank account as much, or at all, actually. Me and my wife kind of sat down with our budget when we moved here, and we were like, oh shoot, we gotta cut a lot of stuff out. And so I needed to cut buying stuff for the game collection, at least from the bank account. So now what I do is I'll purchase games in lots. I'll purchase games in bundles, because you get a better deal. That's also a tangent, another tip. You get a better deal if you buy in bundles from people. And then I'll sell off the rest that I don't want to eBay, and I'll kind of work the system in that way so that I could get things for free, basically. And free meaning I don't touch the family bank account. And honestly, setting that limit for me has made game hunting a lot more rewarding. It's like, oh man, I worked for this, and it's fun. Even the way you save and the way you need to have self-control. Like, I can't get every collector's edition, even though I want it. So it makes the collector's editions that I purchase a little bit more special for me. So for me, I like to set those limits. So that's my tip for you. And the last tip that I have is have fun. Remember, you're playing video games. Like, this is a commodity, not a necessity. And you're supposed to play games. Play means to have fun. And so make sure you're having fun. If you're not having fun, what's the point? And that's kind of the biggest rule for me, biggest tip. You're playing video games. Have some fun. Now, that's kind of a fun thought process here. I was thinking, what would I do differently if I were to collect today? What would I focus on first? What would I really just try to hone in on? And honestly, I think I would try to hone in on kind of the 360 generation, 360 or PS3, and sometimes to end the Xbox One and the PS4. Like, those 4 systems are really cheap right now, especially the Xbox 360. You could get a hefty collection for under $100 for the Xbox 360. Like, it's crazy cheap right now. And because Xbox One and PS4 are the old gen systems, there's a ton of good games that you can get for like under $20 there. And so now's actually the time to collect for PS4 or Xbox One, because now is the time where it's cheaper, especially if you go to GameStop. No matter how you feel, GameStop always has, for the most part, the most options there, just because they're the big company. And every now and then they'll come up with a good deal. Like, I think, or was it like a few weeks ago or a month ago, they just had a deal that you could get 4 games under $10 for $20. So it's basically buy one, get one free. And man, that's a great deal. That you can beef up your game collection just like that. So if I were to start today, I'd probably start with the Xbox 360s. Honestly, just because I grew up with it. I grew up with that 360, and then I wrongfully traded it in just to try to get other systems. But now, yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia for there. The Wii is also really easy to collect for. You can get a nice, like, first edition Wii, the one where you can play the GameCube games for under $50 now. If you look, play your cards right. And then most of the games are under $10, under $20. Now, okay, there are expensive games in all of the systems, but you know what? You'll get that everywhere. There's cheap games, and then there's expensive games. But what's cool about the cheaper games about kind of the 360 generation is that they're not all shovelware. Like, a lot of them are solid games. So my tip for you, if you wanted to start collecting today, and you had a, you know, decent chunk of change, is that I would start with the 360. It is expensive to collect the retro cartridges and stuff, although I hear that the NES stuff is starting to go down, so, you know, take that for what you will. But anything that I have, my collection really starts getting beefed up in the PS3 and 360 generation. I have the other consoles, the NES, Super Nintendo and stuff, but it's really small compared to those disc-based PS3 and 360 and so on. And yeah, so that's it. I mean, remember to have fun. If you learn anything, leave a like. If you have any tips that I haven't covered in game collecting this year, please let me know in the comment section. Let's discuss, how do you get your good deals? How do you get your games? I'd love to know what you're focusing on, what kind of things you want to collect this year, if you have any certain goals. I think for me, goal-wise, is, now that I got the PS5, is to get all those exclusives. That would be kind of my biggest goal, and try my best to control myself, because I mean, it's February, there's so many games that I want, and thankfully, I have the PS5 to distract me, and that just sounded so weird. What a first world problem. So, hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, leave that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time.